Swift.
On Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Matchday powered by Qatar Airways. One last game for Bangladesh in this World Cup and one last test for Australia before a semi-final against South Africa. We look up to that game with Steve Harmison and Wasim Jaffer. Glenn Maxwell, shall we just start there? Australia, the response of what was the greatest ever ODI innings, arguably, Hami, but also a game that there were significant holes and issues exposed before all of that. What are you expecting from Australia to polish off in this last league game?
Yeah, Maxwell's brilliance covered a lot of cracks. If you look at the way Australia played against Spain, if you look at the way, to be fair, the majority of the game, Australia really struggled to to stand up to Afghanistan. If you want to use it like that, and Maxwell's, you'd hope Australia, if you're an Australia fan or in your Australia camp, that there'll be a conversation had, not just take the whole euphoria of Maxwell's got us onto the semi-final. This is a very, very good Australia side. One I think will beat South Africa in the semi-final. I think they've got some big players and big occasions, and they'll want to make sure that they polish this game off a lot better than they did against Afghanistan.
Yeah. Right. What about the selection call that they can make, Wasim? Ideally, they'd want to play the team that'll play in the semi-final. Now, Steve Smith missed the last one. He's not been in great form. But is he a player that certainly makes this team stronger, even if he's not quite had a great World Cup? And if he comes in, who's it for? Is it for Labuschagne? Would you leave out Mitchell Marsh? Do you leave out Marcus Stoinis?
I don't think they can leave out Mitchell Marsh. It's probably Marcus Stoinis because Labuschagne is among the runs, and you need that solid player at 4. So I'll probably leave out Stoinis and definitely bring in Steve Smith because the kind of quality that he brings in.
It's interesting here because I know the Aussie way that Matthew Hayden talks of is you can't have Smith and Labuschagne back together. You want to have aggressive players. But then again, against Spain on a slowish surface, which we could see in Kolkata, maybe Smith and Labuschagne are the way to go. Yeah, what is their best team?
I think Smith, on that surface, I think you've got to play horses for courses for the surface that you're playing on and the team that you're going to play against. Will South Africa play Shamsi? And I think a lot of people are saying yes, but there's Sean Pollock is saying he would stick with the formula that's going. So I think you don't want to pick your team on the opposition, but if Shamsi plays with Maharaj, I think I'd like that middle order of Smith and Labuschagne, and then Stoinis becomes vulnerable. You only bowled one over in the last game. So can you go in with Head as your sixth bowler? I think you probably could. I just look at, in a semi-final, who would I want in my team?
Yep.
And I think if I was looking around the dressing room, I'd want Steve Smith. So if it is Marcus Labuschagne that misses out, it's Marcus Labuschagne that misses out. If it's Marcus Stoinis, it's Marcus Stoinis. But I think in a semi-final, in a final, I think I'd want to walk on the field with Steve Smith, and I think that would be something I think Australia would have to consider going into a big game, big world game in a knockout stage without Steve Smith. I think that would be quite brave.
Quick word on Bangladesh. Shakib Al Hasan's out of the tournament after being in the headlines yet again in his career, Wasim. Nasrum Ahmed is the like-for-like replacement. Shanto will captain here, but this is still an important game, I guess, for Bangladesh. You don't want to be beaten to a point where your net run rate might push you outside those Champions Trophy spots. What are we expecting from them after the Sri Lanka win?
Well, I think Nasrum Ahmed might come in. You need a left-arm spinner. And probably, Mushfiq to bat up the order. Probably his last game, him and Mahmudullah, last World Cup game. So them to come good. And obviously their opening stand hasn't done well. They've stuck with Tanzid Tamim. He hasn't come good, but they've shown faith in him. So, the batting has to click, top of the order. But, yeah, I mean, Mushfiq, Riyad is in good form. For him to bat at number 5 as well, you don't want to drag a good player at 6 or 7. So, a little bit of consistency. I mean, it's the last game. Shanto, probably their future leader going forward. So, it will be a good experience for him.
Australia favourites, though, easily.
Yeah, Australia for me should go into it as favourites and again look to dominate and boss the game with confidence going forward.
All right, Steve Harmison, Wasim Jaffer, thank you very much. This was our build up to Australia versus Bangladesh in Pune on Saturday, the last day game of this World Cup. And this was our preview to it on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Matchday, powered by Qatar Airways.
Stunning looks, the swift